I wanted to go behind the scenes on a recent Instagram post I made about shadows and contrast and shooting on a sunny day. I wanted to go back to the original source file of the first image that I led off of, which was an image of a shadow of a, nope, that's not it, shadow of a street lamp in the French Quarter as I was shooting one morning. Here's the final image, but I'm going to show you what went into finding that shot, and once I found this shot, how I settled on this composition. So if you can see, my day did begin in St. Bernard Parish, driving out on Parish Road. The weather was beautiful. I had my camera on me, so I stopped to pull over and get a shot. And as I'm driving, I stop and pull over and get another shot. The sun was low in the horizon at my back, so anything in front of me was nice, rich, and blue, and my subjects were well lit with the warm, low sun. Great time to get out there and shoot. All right, and as I got into the quarter, my first few shots were just exploring maybe another way of seeing a neighborhood that I've shot tons and tons of times. So I started looking in windows, I started seeing reflections, I started seeing the shadows as they played on the houses, but I wasn't satisfied yet, so I kept shooting. And my angles were not very inspirational, I would say. So when I started seeing stuff like this, I realized, okay, we may be onto something here. Not sure, but as I dug further and looked around, I started seeing the shadows. And this is when I started to become more aware of how the shadows were working. And I'm just going through my shots, and what I'm doing is I have it on capture time down here to show you that this is my next shot. And what I'm doing here, if I mouse over on the shot right here, you can see my exposure. My shutter speed is 1/2500th of a second at f2.8 ISO 100. And as I go, I'm keeping my exposure the same, but I'm changing my composition. So as I get closer, and I zoomed in a little bit to 38 millimeters, set my focus point to Orleans so that everything else fell away in diffusion. But I'm still using this shadow as part of my story. Exploring other shots. I went across the street and shot back at the building. So here, if you notice where I was exploring right here with that wide lens, but now I'm backing up to get the big shot. I like to do that. I like to get close. I like to back up. I like to get a bunch of different options on what I'm shooting. And here's right around the corner. As I start to walk around, I start to see shadows. So here's where we have our shot. So what I'm doing here is I found this guy walking his dog, and I shot him as he got into the light every once in a while. And next thing you know, he's crossing in front of this really cool house. And I got a few shots of him, as you see by the yellowish green tag here. Then I walked with him a little further to get a few more shots. And of course, I did get a model release for him. I told him why I was shooting. And then I went back to that building. And as you can see, it's right here. So here's my first shot, wide angle, looking right at the building. Vertical, got a little tighter. Kind of wanted to cut out all of this noise here. Now this is a great shot, might be used for something else, but for the purposes I wanted, I really wanted to focus on the shadow and the colors. I wanted the viewer to see the shadow and the colors. Here, if you notice, is my final shot, and here is the raw. Okay, so let's go to the raw, go to develop, and reset it and see what it looks like before I cropped it and before I edited it. Here's the final, here's the image. You notice how I cropped this out. I didn't do any selective editing. Kind of kept this highlight here. I don't mind that. Your eye goes right to the shadow, and then there's my shot. If you look past this shot, you'll start to see that I did what I did earlier with the shadow in the corner of Orleans. I got a wide angle. I changed my composition just to see what's going on. And I kind of liked my background as it got a little better, shot wider angle, and then cropped out those trash cans right there. If you notice, here's my raw, but let's reset this. Look at that. There's the image I started with, and here's the image that I ended with. I could see that I wanted something tighter of a crop, but I didn't want all the walkways here and the stairs. So that's a little bit of insight into how I find the shot, how I edit the shot, and how a little bit into my workflow in why I chose the shot I chose. If you want to see more videos like this, tune in every Tuesday on this YouTube channel or on my Facebook business page, and subscribe to my blog to get even more deeper insights on editing and workflow, as well as new workshops coming to the New Orleans area. Thanks for tuning in.